These all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
And I approve this message.
Oakland Raiders, Oakland Raiders, Oakland Raiders. Just win, baby, win, baby, win, baby. We are the Oakland Raiders, Oakland Raiders, Oakland Raiders. Just win, baby, win, baby, win, baby. Don't need no invitation. We are that Raider Nation. We rock that black and silver. We make them shake and shiver. We make them reconsider. And we still committed. So if you want a piece of this, you can come and get it. Touchdown, touchdown. Let's throw a bomb on first down. Let's throw a bomb on every down. First we score, then we clown. Having fun, look around. Nobody loud as a Raider crowd. Nobody proud as a Raider crowd. NFL, how you like me now? We gon' do this open style. Nothing but action. I'm Bo Jackson. Hit the hole, run you over. Goal line, jumping over. Going crazy. Lose your soul, lose your mind in the black hole. Here's the goal, Super Bowl. And everybody here get to go. Don't need no invitation. We are that Raider Nation. We rock that black and silver. We make them shake and shiver. We make them reconsider. And we still committed. So if you want a piece of this, you can come and get it. Oakland Raiders.
Raiders! What is up? What is up, Raider Nation? Welcome to another Monday of Puro Raider Podcast. Today, I have my two good friends with me today with me as guests. Let's bring them on board. You all know my brother Afakasi. What is going on, bro? I'll bring you. Add, motherfucker. There you go. Hey, there you are.
How
you doing, bro?
In the chat. How are you, brothers? Good morning or good evening for you guys.
Cool. Yeah, it is, right? For you, it's morning.
Yes, sir.
All right. And we got our brother Ont6. He is also joining us today.
What up? What's up, everyone? How's everyone
How you doing? How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, brother, man. Ready for the NFL
doing?
draft to get here. I'm dying. These last 3 weeks, I'm dying, man.
Show the people what jersey you're rocking.
Kind of like that really slow.
My boy Rich Gannon, MVP.
Yeah.
Put some respect on his name.
Some respect on his name. So,
is that one of those old school ones?
Yeah, it's the Reebok ones.
you can tell it's Reebok with the big the middle patch. They had that own unique one. You know, see how it's kind of round and it's got the NFL logo in the middle.
Okay. Yeah.
See the Nike
Those
patches,
are the ones that were still
like,
kind of messed, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but these were the mesh. Before the Nike
mesh ones. I like those. Yeah. I almost got one the other day at the swap meet, but it was too small. It was a Marshawn Lynch one. Yeah.
A Marshawn Lynch
gonna buy that
Reebok.
Yeah.
Raiders Reebok?
No.
It would have been a Bills one, right?
Yeah, it was a Bills one. Yeah, but it's that Marshawn's one of my favorite players. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think Reebok.
Is the connection kind of slow?
Jersey. I think it's on your. Is it on Cheetos and Ont6?
Yeah.
I think it's on your end, man. Because I think you're lagging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because me and Ont6, we're goody.
Give me 1 second.
Shout out to everyone in the chat. I see you all. Ray, James, what's we got? Navy Vet. Salute to you all. Salute to you guys. Alfredo, my man. SoCal Sal, my guy. Shit.
Oh, the band's over here, huh?
Everybody's pulling up and shit. We put out the word to the Raider Nation. They're pulling up, dog.
There we go.
Let's get himself situated, chat. Is he frozen?
No, he's there. No, he froze. No, he's frozen now. Just,
Cheeto. Trying to poke him.
poke him. Do something. Come on, do something. Do something.
There he is. He's back. It worked.
Is that better?
It worked. See, we were poking you.
Yeah, I just had to switch connection.
You're frozen. Spicy in the chat. Look.
Nah. I just had to switch connections real quick. What is up? What is up, everybody? Did you greet everybody while I was gone? I think I heard you do that.
You froze again for a second. You goody?
Did I? Is that better? Yeah.
You're talking like those kung fu movies where your sound's coming out, but your lips are like. Right, Matt. I don't know if you can see Matt's.
What
comment.
the hell? All days I don't want to start working. What do you say? What do you say?
Ray says, plug in the Ethernet cable.
Control Alt Delete.
He's frozen again. Look at the stick. Poking with my knife, my little Halloween knife.
It's not a.
Come on, Cheeto.
Get your boomerang.
There he is.
Oh man.
So the hamster can only go so fast.
There it is. There it is. For real. It's because you know what? The kids are home. Those fools are gaming right now. Little bastards trying to hog up all the internet.
You got to put the dad pants on now.
Oh man. How you guys been though?
Well, better than your Wi-Fi.
No shit. I know. You know the crazy part is now that I can plug it in, I plug it into my Xbox. Yeah, but I haven't done it to the computer yet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You should see before I plugged it in when I was playing fucking Madden. That shit sucked.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Is it still lagging?
A little bit. You got a few more people joining in the chat. I see Rod, Gas, and Tony. So shout out to you guys.
Yeah, Matt.
Maybe that's in the building.
There we go. Rod Gas from Mexico. Oh, there you go. That's what's up, bro. From where? See, he's from my homeland.
Nice. Viva Mexico. My mom's out there right now too.
I think it. Right now we're good.
Puro, you know in Scarface, he goes, "It's 10-5 aquí. It's puro."
Puro.
Puro. Hey, you're a big movie buff, huh?
I like select movies. You know what I mean? Like I'm a 80s and 90s action kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't make them like they used to. You know, I thought a lot of the movies that are my faves, I can quote them almost line for line. And Ray, no, he doesn't. His home's on my channel for now, but he might make it. He might branch off on his own, but for now, you can find him at the Raiders World Order, as you know. Anyway, sorry, Gino.
No, you're good. No, same way. Like the old school action movies, they're just different. Yeah. I know because you're always quoting movies on your show. I always see you guys doing the whole Bronx Tale thing. Put them in the
bathroom.
What is it? Put them in the bathroom. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then
Popeye.
Popeye always comes up. Yeah.
Gee, I wonder who that guy is. I guess we'll never know. Shout out to Popeye.
Popeye, my friend. What's up, Milk and Breezy?
Yeah.
Shout out to you. What's up, my brother?
Spicy says, "What are we talking about today?" Cheeto, what do you got?
I know, right? So I haven't had you guys on the show lately, so I'm curious because I've had Obviously, if I had my TRS brothers on here, I've had other people. But I'm curious, on in AR, how are you guys feeling right now about where we are at as the team? You feel we haven't signed enough people? There's still big holes, big question mark. Like we can start with you, AR. Like, how are you feeling about the team?
Look, I feel a lot better than I did last season. I've gone on record to say a few times I believe we've got the right guy in the room to take us back to glory and beyond, but he's going to need time. Free agency, we made some moves. I mean, we got Christian Wilkins in the building, the big move. We signed some other depth guys or guys that can compete, like Gardner Minshew, who is got an opportunity to compete for that quarterback job. I mean, we're going to draft one. Where and who knows? But like, it's going to be a competition, so we'll see. It would have been nice to maybe have made a few more moves in free agency, maybe re-sign some of our homegrown guys like Josh Jacobs. Unfortunately, we let him go. Thank you for your services. Amik Robertson's another name that we lost. Thank you for your services. But yeah, look, I feel good with the leadership and the roster we got. Like we may look a little like, I think offense is going to be the big question this year. I mean, defense, It looks building from the defensive side, which is very different from the last how long now. Like we've been mostly known. If we had an identity, it was offensive, but we're going to switch the focus to defensive. But you know, we'll wait and see. I'm excited for the draft. Like for me, that's like my Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's gonna be fun. And what is it? 2 weeks away?
About 3 weeks away. Yeah, 2-3 weeks away. Yeah, the 24th, 25th. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So long story short, look, in AP I trust in Telesco I trust, and yeah, I feel a lot better with those guys and everybody in the front office over the last regime. So let's go.
Okay. All right. How about you, Aunt?
For me, first of all, thanks for having me on. Shout out to everyone in the chat. For me, first of all, I agree with my brother AR. You know what I mean? I do feel AP is the right man for the job, even though some other guys wanted Jim Harbaugh just because of his penis size and stuff. But at the end of the day, we got the right man for the job. And we got the right leader. I want a leader that can lead us. You know what I mean? Not some supposed offensive guru that's a Hall of Famer just because his visor's in the fucking Hall of Fame. You know, it's just ridiculous to me. But at the end of the day, I wish we would just sign a couple more offensive linemen in free agency, especially after we just let the one we signed. I forgot who we just let go. But besides that, I'm just excited to the draft more than foremost, just to see if we do get Jalen Daniels, because that's the quarterback I want. He's the most talented, I believe, more than Caleb Williams, to be honest with you. If I had the number one pick, I would actually take Jalen Daniels over Caleb Williams. Because at the end of the day, I believe in this kid so much. And then from what I've seen in college, him being at Arizona and then going to LSU, taking over for Joe Burrow. Just think about that. You taking over for Joe Burrow at LSU, one of the greatest quarterbacks in LSU history, and for you to follow in his footsteps and to lead to a program. I know he didn't win a national championship, but he did pretty good with the offensive weapons and everything he had around them. So I really want him. But at the end of the day, if we're not able to trade for Jalen Daniels, at 13, the way I'm looking at it is like this. Am I going to take the number 5 ranked quarterback when the number 2 right tackle or the number 1 cornerback is on the board? That doesn't make sense to me, point blank, period. I'm not going to draft Bo Nix or Penix Jr. at 13 when I got the number 1 corner in the draft and Armstead right there, or the number 1 right tackle in the draft. You know, especially when those 2 are the biggest needs that we have on this team. What's the last time we actually had a number 1 shutdown corner that we had since probably Namdi that we drafted in homegrown? It's been a while.
Yeah, we were talking about Namdi or Woodson or yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's been a while. And what's the last time we actually had a franchise right tackle? You know what I mean? It's been a while. Probably from Lincoln Kennedy. If you think about it, what's actually the time we actually drafted one, developed one. So at the end of the day, I just want to draft the best available player at 13 if we're not able to trade up for Daniel Daniels. So I know that's the big question of the day for me, but at the end of the day, I'm willing to give up a couple first-round picks in the future just to secure this kid, because at the end of the day, everybody's worried about, this kid's from LSU. Just because Jamarcus Russell didn't work out doesn't mean this kid's not going to do it. You know what I mean?
Can I ask a quick question about that in regards to, because no secret, if we want Jaden Daniels, we're going to have to trade up, and we're going to have to trade up a bounty of picks. Players may be thrown in, I don't know. But like, let's just talk specifically picks. What's your ceiling for how much you would give to move up to number 2 or number 3 in order to acquire him? What would be like? That's it. I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't give any more than.
To be honest with you, I'm really willing to give 2 number 1 picks, and believe this or not, I'm willing to throw in Colton Miller in there. You know what I mean?
Colton Miller.
And
you really gonna lose the left tackle?
Well, the thing about it too, we got Munford on this roster, and he looked good at left tackle last year too. You know what I mean? So don't just think about that as well. You know what I mean, guys? At the end of the day, you have a chance to get your franchise quarterback. What's the last time the Raiders had a franchise quarterback than Derek Carr? You know what I mean? That's the thing you gotta realize. I don't want to get stuck here with the fucking 3rd best quarterback in the division and shit behind Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert for the next 10, 15 years. I want to get our own guy in here. And the own guy in here is going to be Jaden Daniels. You know what I mean? He's a mobile guy that can take it to the touchdown anytime. And it's just crazy.
Right.
Because a lot of players, he's not a first to run the ball. He's looking to get the ball down the field. His deep ball accuracy is really good. He struggles in the intermediate, but I think that's some of that we can fix. But at the end of the day, I really want this kid, and I don't care what it really costs. But at the end of the day, it's not me. It's Tom Telesco and APs, but I just really want this kid. I don't know what it is. I just want him to be a Raider.
I honestly think it's gonna take more than that, AR, to get to 2nd or to 3rd. Probably you're gonna look at least 2 first rounds, maybe 3 first round picks, right? And then you're gonna have to add a 2nd rounder, either this year or next year, attached to that as well, to be able to go up there and get him. And I get it. Like, we need a franchise quarterback. We want one. And I'm with it. I'm on the train. I know AP wants him. That's his boy. Would I say he's the best quarterback out of this class? Probably not. But then again, it all depends to me too, is where they fit. You know, it goes on fit on teams and how they're going to fit into what we're doing. Looking at the quarterbacks that are available out there, that are going to be out there, the top 3, Daniels to me will make the most sense. Do I think he's the most talented? No. I still think Caleb is the most talented. Like, past all that diva shit aside, all the shit his dad brings on and all that stuff. Like, quarterback wise, like Caleb did his thing while he was at USC. But I like Jaden as far as being that link that he has with AP and stuff like that. I don't care about honestly giving up those first round picks, because if you think about it now, people are mad that we're picking 13, right? That we should have lost games more so we can get a higher pick, right? Yeah. So you think about, if you talk about the trajectory that we're going on, these next first round picks shouldn't be top picks anyway. We're thinking like later, maybe in the 20s, later in the rounds, based on how the team is moving forward. So are you really losing a top 10 pick at that point? So that's why on my sense, if that's your guy, that's the one you want, go ahead and pull it. But my whole thing is Washington going to want to give that up? You know, is New England going to be there? Or if it is New England, will Daniels even be there? Because the Commanders have already been saying that they also want Daniels. So it's just going to be crazy to see what happens that day on draft day, you know?
So your ceiling would be 3 first rounders and a 2nd rounder, correct?
And a 2nd rounder, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Quickly, my ceiling would be, if it has to be 3 first rounders and no more. Any more than that, that's it.
Yeah.
Any more than that, no mas.
Yeah. And it would,
I think that's why they're looking at other options like Phoenix and that. So anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it wouldn't be our 2nd rounder this year. I would say next year. Because if you think about it, we give up our first already. We're going to need that 2nd round pick to pick up a fucking offensive lineman, right? To be able to go help with on that side of the field. And this draft has a lot of offensive linemen, a lot of defensive linemen, a lot of corners. You brought up corner. I brought up corner. Corner's another big one too. That if we don't go up and get a quarterback, should we get a corner at 13? You know, based on who's there and who's left, you know, whatever. or even in the free agency. There's still a couple out there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like who would you want to bring one of those dudes, or you're better off just drafting one at 13?
I don't know. That's the hard part, especially where we're at now at 13, because there's so many people ahead of us, and there's things are unpredictable. Because all we know for a fact, as it stands today, that Caleb Williams is going number 1. We don't know what Washington doing that too. Everybody's saying they're gonna go fucking Jalen Daniels. Some people are saying Drake Mays. Now there's rumors that fucking JJ McCarthy's gonna get drafted at 2. So you know what I mean? That's the worst part of the year right now, because everybody's throwing out smoke signals and fucking flares and bullshit rumors because there's nothing to talk about. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's gonna be interesting if Drake Mays goes number 2 and the Patriots are there at number 3 and Jalen Daniels is on the board. You know what I mean? If I'm the Raiders, I'm calling them up and I'm trying to get that number 3 pick if he's there at 3. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it all depends. So I understand that a lot of people are like, oh, we got to trade up to fucking the top 3 right now. But at the same time, if you know that he's not going to be there, what's the point of doing it right now? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. If we trade up to 3 and he's gone at 2, then we're left with like, are we going to get Drake May? Or what the hell are we going to do?
That's why it's imperative, I think, we trade to number 2. If Caleb Williams is the only lock as number 1, I mean, we're going to have to go up to number 2. But Randy's left a good comment there. Shout out to Raider Way, says 3 ones and a Vegemite sandwich. Randy says, I'll ask the same question I keep asking. Name a QB that a team traded up in the top 5 and then won a Super Bowl with that QB. Okay. Can you guys name anyone?
That traded up to draft the quarterback in the top 5?
So he's asking for, like, say, a team name a quarterback that a team's traded up to, and shout out to Westside, that's drafted a quarterback that they traded picks for to go up in the draft and take, who's won a Super Bowl. It's an interesting one.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't Denver trade up to get John Elway?
That's before my time.
No, they had the number 1 pick that year.
Did they have the number 1 pick?
The only one I can think off the top of my head was the Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning trade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they swapped. Yeah,
when they swapped, and I was I believe in the top 5. But at the same time, both. I mean, the Eli Manning ended up winning 2 Super Bowls and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know what I mean? It all depends. You have to go to the right situation and the right fit. If we do take a quarterback, I mean, Jalen Daniels comes in here. He's gonna have 3 good receivers in Tucker. I mean, Adams and Jacoby. You know what I mean? And he's gonna have a good tight end. He's gonna have 2 good running backs. He's gonna have a defense. Decent offensive line. You know what I mean? The cover's not buried. You know what I mean? It's a lot better than when we drafted Jamarcus Russell and he's all we had on offense and shit. You know what I mean? His rookie year and shit. So
yeah, this team is definitely a lot better than when Jamarcus came. When Jamarcus came, our receivers weren't. I mean, to us, you know, like we talked about earlier about Jacoby Ford, Denarius Moore. We've talked about those are
that was after Russell's time, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those were our starts after because we didn't have shit before them. We had Hayward Bay.
Hayward Bay was there, like I think in the final season that Russell was there. Yeah. That was the year we drafted Hayward Bay, but Russell lost the job. I think he started that season. Yes, he did. He started the first game of that season, but then he eventually, I think, lost the job, and then he was out 2010. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, we had some guys, but like we I don't know, maybe. I mean, now that you think about it, like around 2009, 2010, we had like like Fadden,
the Chaz Schilling era.
Chaz Schillings, Johnny Lee Higgins. I mean,
Johnny Lee Higgins,
wide receiver, but he was a great kick returner, punt returner, actually punt returner, not kick returner.
I remember we gave all that money to Javon Walker. How did that work out too?
That was another one. Yeah, Walker was another one.
God damn,
that was wasted.
Ern says, "Did the Chiefs trade up for Patrick Mahomes?"
They did, but it wasn't a top 5 pick,
right? Because Mahomes wasn't like they took him at what, like number 10 or 12?
I believe it was 10.
Yeah, and Mahomes wasn't really the most coveted. He wasn't. He was like 3rd most coveted quarterback in that class.
Yeah, there were a lot of
nobody thought he was a
question marks
generational
behind.
talent except for what, like the Chiefs. The Chiefs saw something, and
Yeah, with Mahomes, the main issue was his accuracy when he coming out of college. Could he get the accuracy? You know, he had the arm, he had whatever, but his accuracy, would he be able to get it fixed? And then like that's why I said a lot of times falling into the right damn fit. You think about where he fell into with Andy Reid, with Eric Bieniemy in that offense. You know, they had Tyreek Hill. They were able to utilize this dude's skills, and the dude's gotten just better. Yeah.
And the thing is, too, Patrick Mahomes set a whole year too behind Alex Smith. You know what I mean? That's what people don't realize is they think he just started right away. No, he sat behind Alex Smith, and then Alex Smith got traded away and shit, and then that's when Patrick Mahomes took over and shit. So,
and that team was already a playoff team once he got there. You know,
they were, but like, look, as much as we hate the guy, he still had to do his thing. You know what I'm saying? So
he took them to the next level for sure. Yeah.
And Randy, I agree with you. Mahomes, he wasn't. I remember, like, I mean, I saw a bit of Texas Tech's games back then, and I thought he was okay. And a lot of people thought he was decent, but nobody thought he would be what he is now.
What he is
unfortunately
now,
for us. Anyway.
I mean, shoot, you think about that. What was freaking Brady picked in? What round was that again?
Round 6.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's the whole thing when people say, "Oh, you got to go get your franchise quarterback." Like, I get that, but there's nothing that guarantees getting one in the top 3 is going to be a franchise quarterback, right? Look at what we got Carr for as long as he was. We got him what?
Second round.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lamar Jackson dropped to the end of the first, right?
Yeah.
Who?
Lamar Jackson.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, it's hit or miss. I think it just depends if that's the guy they believe in. Is he going to have the work ethic? Is he going to be the one doing the work? All that stuff. Is he going to? That's my thing with Caleb. I think he's going to come in, be a diva, type shit. Probably not fucking do what he did in college and shit like that. Daniels, I see him differently because he knows AP. He knows JD5. Maybe that'll be able to work more. But then there's other quarterbacks too. If we can't get one of the top 3, would you guys be cool getting one of the other ones?
What was that? Sorry, what was the question?
I said, if we can't get one of the top 3, if we don't get Jaden Daniels, if we don't move up to the top 3, would you guys be good taking one of the other quarterbacks, whether it's Penix, Nix, Rattler, Jordan Travis?
Well, I know that they're doing their extensive homework on Michael Penix, and there's a lot of smoke that, like, if he's there at 13, which is a possibility that he still might be there, that I mean, look, where there's smoke, there's fire. Like, it seems like we're looking at possibly taking him. But yeah, look, I'd be with it if it's not a case of they're just settling. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, he's the best quarterback there, so we'll just settle for this guy. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I only want them to take him if they believe, right? Like, yeah, okay, we didn't get Jaden Daniels, but like, not just Penix or whoever it might be. Here's a guy that we actually believe can be just as good, if not better. So we will take him. And if that's what they see, so be it.
So you wouldn't be mad if they took Penix at 13?
No. If I mean, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and we were just talking about Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? Nobody saw Patrick Mahomes as being the star he is today. And if the coaching staff see whoever's there as maybe being like, I mean, if he can be Patrick Mahomes or even 3/4 Patrick Mahomes, if they believe he can be the guy and not just, like I said, I'm just like to stress, not just settle. You know what I mean? Like, then I'm with it. I'll run.
Like, if that's their guy, that's who they believe in, and they bring him in at 13.
If they legitimately believe with the, he can take us to heights and not just, we'll just take the best quarterback available type deal. Because if that would be the case, then it's just like, right, I would rather take a player that they actually believe can take us, have a good career with us. You know what I mean? Rather than just settling for the best quarterback available, and he might not necessarily be a good player, or they believe that he can turn out to be a good player or whatever. So.
What about you? You're big on Jaden Daniels from what you were sharing. Would you, if we couldn't get him, would you be okay if it's number 13, Michael Penix?
He's a big boy Knicks fan, aren't you?
Oh, it's okay. Either one. No, I mean, either one, Knicks or Penix.
I'm not like these other YouTubers that want to go up here and trade 3 first-round picks and trade up for Bo Nix and shit.
What?
I mean,
I don't want to. Wait. Who said trade 3 first rounds to move up for Bo?
somebody that has some master's degree and runs $1 million corporation. You know what I mean? I don't want to say no name. You know what I mean?
Now that would get me highly upset.
But that's not even the thing. You know what got me upset the other day? That this guy said that he said that Khalil Mack's not a Hall of Famer, but Chandler Jones is. You know what I mean? You're telling me that Khalil Mack, an All-Pro at 2 positions, you know what I mean, that has more career acts than Chandler Jones does, you know what I mean, that not sitting at home making songs about Bill Belichick, singing, Bill, it wasn't you that played the balls. Bill,
hey, man.
you're innocent. You know what I mean? Not singing songs like that. You know what I mean? It's just the stupidity that comes out of these people's mouths and shit. But they want to come out here and say that we're fake fans. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to do with these people sometimes. You know
no,
I mean?
you don't trade up to go get Bo Nix. You don't trade up to go get Penix. The only one you trade up for.
I said that in jest. Ont6 does not want Bo Nix.
I do not. I can't stand this guy. This guy's been in college for 6 years. He literally transferred from Auburn because he got heckled and he couldn't deal with it and shit.
But did you guys see the interview about that when they asked him about that?
Yeah, he literally said that. So you think he's gonna be he's gonna be able to deal with us Raider fans? No, I'm sorry. He has Denver Bronco written all over him. I hope he gets drafted before us. So go ahead, Sean Payton. Go ahead and draft him, please do.
Yeah, they are. The Broncos are one of the teams looking at Bo Nix. Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping. Let him take him in front of us, so we have to pay him twice a year. We can get a couple interceptions and shit. I'm fine with it, but this guy cannot play. Seriously, he cannot play. I seen them a couple of games. I seen him with. I seen him against USC, and he looked fucking horrible against that. And then USC had one of the worst defenses in the league last year in college football.
This year?
And then, and then
you didn't have a bad game against USC this year.
Well, did he? I'm not sure. Well, I don't know. Well, I seen some film that he had some horrible passes, and then the other one I seen, that I actually seen from start to finish was against Washington. And that in the playoff game, and then he looked horrible and shit. You know what I mean? He was
the championship game. You mean?
Yeah, was it a championship game? Well, I believe what it was. What's the championship game? I don't know.
Yeah, the Pac-12 championship. Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah, but that shit, he looked horrible. They just took all the underneath throws and made him try to throw the ball deep, and he couldn't do it, bro. He was overthrowing players, and they just looked horrible. And at the end of the day, he can't do it against Washington defense. I don't know. I just can't stand this guy at all, bro. I just don't want him. And then the worst thing that breaks my heart, the Raiders are over here bringing him for an interview and shit. Like, the way you bring this guy and wasting one of your top 30 visits on this moron, it just
because you got to look at everybody, though. Like, I get that. Like, people have said that, but you really do have to do your homework and look at everybody.
But they're wasting they're using one of their what is it? How many visits do they get?
They get top 30.
Yeah, 30 visits.
So I mean. You know, it is 30 visits, but to use one on Bo Nix, so that shows that there is some interest. And I mean, I think the only other quarterback that they visited was
Penix.
So,
and then Jordan Travis came too. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, Jordan Travis. Yeah,
Jordan Travis came as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I had to choose, the only one I would choose is Jordan Travis because I'm a big Miami Hurricanes fan. You know, it's all about the U, and it just breaks my heart because for the last couple of years, this guy's been eating us up and shit, man. And before he got hurt, he was balling out, and he has a nice deep ball. And the thing is, he got injured, but he's going to be cleared and ready to go for training camp. If that's the case, I'd rather take a chance on him in the later rounds than draft Bo Nix or Michael Penix. Because I like him personally, I just don't want to take him because of his injury concern. Especially after we drafted Tyreek Wilson last year. And his injuries coming out, you know what I mean? I don't want to deal with that same bullshit again, drafting somebody that's coming in here injured or has injury concern. That's one thing I don't want to come out of this draft with somebody that hurt or has any injury concerns, especially what happened last year.
That's the thing with Penix too, right?
Yeah.
Although, I mean, if he's slated to go late because of the said injury, I mean, like a 5th, 6th round pick, give or take. Like, I mean, I'd be all for drafting a guy like that. Even if we do draft a quarterback high, I mean, you know, look what happened with Washington. Remember when they drafted
Cousins and
Robert Griffin III?
Yeah,
and then
drafted Cousins.
You know, 3 rounds later they drafted who was it?
Kirk Cousins.
You know what I'm saying? So if he's there and available, and salute to everyone in the chat. I see some more names popping up. Yeah, I'd be all right with it. I mean, you're the second guy that I've heard. Like, I got to be honest, like, because I don't watch too much college football. However, in regards to that, what is his name? Jordan Travis.
Yeah, Jordan Travis.
You are the second guy who supports like one of their rivals. So you support Miami, being a former Miami U alumni, right? Ont6.
Yes,
I
sir.
shared a panel the other day with a guy from Florida, a Florida Gators fan, and he said the same. He had the same glowing reviews of this Jordan Travis guy as what you did. I mean, this is coming from guys who support schools who are their main rivals. So for you guys to endorse a guy like that, I don't know. It means something to me. So if he slides in the draft because of his injury and he's there like post round 4, yeah, cool. I'll take it.
And that's the thing with Jordan Travis, because before he got hurt, he was favored to win the fucking Heisman Trophy. It wasn't Jaden.
Yeah,
it was Jordan Travis. Yeah, and if you watch that game when they go head to head, that was an awesome game. Yeah, like if you can go back and watch that one, that was one of the freaking badass games that I saw. Yeah, I would like that one. Yeah, but oh look, he found out who our receivers were. He said Jerry Porter and Ronald Curry were our best wide receivers in 2007.
Hey, my boy Jerry Porter.
Wow, you're that far behind in the chat? That was like 10, 15 minutes ago.
I know, but it stuck in my head. Like, who was our other receiver? I couldn't remember who it was. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. But a lot of people like Penix. He Penix. I don't like Bo. Penix. A lot of the Penix that just came up after he ran that damn 40. A lot of people came more in love with him after that.
But that's the thing is too. Some people say he ran a 4.5, and there's some people saying he ran closer to a 4.6 that were actually there. So I don't know what to believe in shit. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. He's an athletic quarterback, but after his 2 ACL injuries to the same fucking knee, you know what I mean? Just think about it. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Just think about his injury history. And I understand he hasn't had no injuries in the last 2 years, but just having those injuries to your knees and ACLs and your quarterback coming into the league, it just worries me a little bit too much, brother. A little bit too much.
A little bit. It's fucking Chris, really? What up, Chris? I see more anchoring in the middle of our D-line again.
Gee, that's the same guy who said what? Chandler Jones is going to be a Hall of Famer for Khalil Mack. Yeah, what a great Raider historian that guy is.
Fucking lay off the fentanyl.
Anyways.
Hey, for real though. What up, Space Beast? What up, man? Can we get Afakasi to 1K tonight, fellas? Yes. You're almost at 1K. Where are you at?
I'm still another 367 subscribers away.
Okay. All right.
Look, slow and steady. Like, I mean, look, I'm just having fun along the way. If I get there, I get there. You know, I support. I appreciate everybody's support. So appreciate you saying that, Space Beast. But look, one subscriber, one supporter at a time.
Right. This is the one that killed me. I remember this. I remember that.
he said, Mr. Raider, it's not even a Raider. But
can we move on from these guys? Like,
yes.
Like,
no. One thing I did want to bring up, as far as like fucking crazy, stupid rumors. I don't know if you guys have seen or heard, but this whole thing with Dak getting more attention now about being traded to us.
Shout out to Mitchell Rentis, dumbass. Putting that shit on the world.
How would you feel about that, AR? For real?
I would shoot myself. I would literally shoot myself. I would hang up my Raiders jersey and shoot myself and put myself out of my misery if I had to see Dak Prescott as my quarterback.
Right, number 4.
Fucking garbage. I hate this motherfucker with a passion. Imagine this motherfucker being your quarterback, right? And he can't even fight. There's footage of this motherfucker getting knocked out in the parking lot before he got drafted and shit. But yeah, you want him to put on the black and silver and tell me he's my quarterback? You're about to trade 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick for this moron? Like, Metro Rents, you're an idiot, bro. You're just throwing shit out there for clickbait, and it's just ridiculous, bro. It literally is, dog.
Look. Cheeto, you asked me. Look, look, I think that would be ridiculous trading away first rounders for the guy or second rounders. But like, look, if we, it's like I hate talking about these hypothetical situations that are likely never going to happen because like we speak them into non-existence. But you asking me the question, look, if we traded something for him, not like first, second rounders, like, and he is our quarterback, I wouldn't like the move, but I wouldn't hate it as much as like moves in yesteryears, like what Jimmy Garoppolo, like Carson Palmer. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. But again, another hypothetical scenario that's likely not going to happen. So what's the point in talking about it, right?
So you brought up the Carson Palmer one. That one's interesting to me because I saw his little, you know how they have the NFL films, the story about them or whatever. So they had one on Carson Palmer when we traded for him, when he came from the couch, off the couch.
Yeah.
And then that at the end of that season, correct me if I'm wrong, did Hugh get fired? And then Dennis Allen came on, right?
Hugh, and they went with Dennis Allen. That was the Reggie McKenzie era.
Yeah.
But that was an era that was already
a bad quarterback.
Look, he wasn't, but like, I don't know, like to give up what we gave up for him, we gave up 2 first rounders.
2 first.
And look, there's a part of me that gets it because we were trying to save our season. Because we were actually rolling that season until Jason Campbell unfortunately went down to injury. Darren McFadden unfortunately went down to injury. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a pretty decent, fun roster. One of the coolest rosters in my time as a Raider fan. Like, they weren't the best, they weren't the star-studded team, but I loved that team. And we just needed to try and make a move, and we tried with Carson Palmer. That was actually a Mark Davis move, according to shout out to Protect the Shield. He interviewed Hugh Jackson, and apparently he came out and said that it wasn't his call. It was more of a Mark Davis move for that trade. But I don't know, like, granted, like we didn't really have the ammunition because of the cap salary we were in for those lean years between 2012 and 2013, 2014, and the lack of draft capital as well really hurt that team around that time. So we had to make the best of a bad situation. But Carson Palmer, like, I don't know, just from the eye test when I saw him playing for us, like, he made some throws, but like it was always like captain check down for me. So always just looking for the check down. I wasn't that impressed. Yes. When he was with us. Captain check down.
No. Yeah, I saw that. And I always thought, like, when I watched that special, like, I wondered if that had a lot to do with Hugh not being here anymore. And then Dennis Allen came in. And like Palmer just looked complete, like, way fucking different. Because then when he went to Arizona, then he started airing it out again.
Right.
So,
but we still had the likes of what, like, you know, Denarius Moore, and, you know, we had Darius Hayward Bay and Rod Streeter, you know, like, again, they weren't the most star-studded kind of, you know, wide receiver. He came from what the Bengals, who had Terrell, who was it? Chad Ochocinco. How do you say his name again? Chad Ochocinco. Chad Ochocinco in his best prime days, as well as who was the guy who came over to play with him? Was it Terrell Owens?
Owens went over there. But remember, they also had TJ Houshmandzadeh. TJ Houshmandzadeh was still good when he was there.
That guy did the somersault over the cornerback.
Oh yeah, that fool's
name on his feet. What was it? Jerome Simpson, I think.
Was that his name? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Look. At the end of the day, I just wasn't he didn't really move the needle for me, Carson Palmer. I mean, he wasn't the worst quarterback we've had, but I was more excited with Terrell Pryor than I was with Carson Palmer. So.
With that long run that he made?
Well, he did some things. Like, I mean, there were games when, like, I remember a Colts game and a Broncos game where he was actually making some really nice throws and, you know, making some plays with his legs. You know what I mean? Like, he had his moments. He just wasn't the long-term answer. There for a good time, not a long time, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, see, Chris did say, look, the Carson trade was a first and a second. It didn't come out to be because he didn't hit the mark. Yeah, okay. It was a conditional, depending on how much.
Okay, conditional. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I just feels like
I agree with the Chiefs comment. He said he wasn't Jason Campbell. Yeah, Jason Campbell finally found his groove and was. I remember him playing very well.
We were moving with Campbell, bro.
And unfortunately, like it derailed his career. He never really amounted to much after that. So
no, not after that injury. Yeah, I like that team. I really like that team. Yeah,
they were.
That was one of the ones I was getting really excited about. Yeah,
they were a very fun team.
They were not only on Madden but also on the field.
No, don't even get me started with Madden. Speed for
That's
days.
one of my most favorite Madden teams, bro. Was that one?
Right.
Was that Raider team, man?
So much speed.
Exactly. Wasn't Taiwan Jones on that team too?
We drafted Taiwan. Was it 2011 or 2012? So yeah, he would have been. Yeah. Half back toss to Taiwan Jones.
There you go.
Go to the races.
Yeah. Here we go. This guy. So Chris must have went on like YouTube or something, and then he learned how to throw over the middle, and he whooped my ass the other night.
That's why you need to learn how to use the middle linebacker, my friend.
I wasn't even that. It was like above them. Oh, trust me. I was gonna get to you about that because I can't let Chris get away with that. He kicked my ass.
I keep saying it. Where were all you people last season when I was playing Madden and I was calling out everybody? Nobody wanted to smoke, and now all of a sudden, and I'm not just saying this to you. I've said this on other lives. People are calling this guy, that guy, and this guy out. It's like, well, where were you in my Madden days?
I know, right?
Anyways,
well, we're all gonna get together for the new one, right?
Yeah, I took a year hiatus, but I'll be back, and you better believe I'll be taking some names. So
it'll definitely be a little different than the Tecmo Bowl games.
Same thing.
But Aunt, you brought something up, and we were talking about this on Sunday, and I want to hear more what you have to say in AR. But if we do draft a quarterback, right, does he have to start next season, or are you cool with him sitting behind AOC and Minshew?
In my dream scenario, if we were to draft Jalen Daniels, I would like him to come in midway during the season. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Might as well just give him the training camp, you know what I mean, to come fetcher in, have AOC or Garner Minshew, and then let him come in, midway through the season and let him finish it out. But it depends what quarterback we draft too, you know what I mean? Because a lot of them are not ready to go day one. So no matter who we draft, in my opinion, besides Jalen Daniels, they're going to have to sit a year. So it's going to be interesting because at the end of the day, you don't go and pay Garner Minshew what you did. And after AOC, what he did last year, you know what I mean? I'm not saying he played the best, but he was the second best rookie quarterback behind CJ Stroud last year, So it's going to be interesting. But if we're able to get Jalen Daniels, I want him to come in midseason. But if there's any other quarterback we draft, I would like him to take a redshirt year and then see how they look next year.
So any other quarterback besides Daniels, you want him redshirted, sit the whole year, and then come in. But if it's Daniels, depending on where we are and how they're playing, you would want him to come in at some point in there. All right.
Yes, sir.
What about you, AR?
Start immediately, take us to the Super Bowl, and win said Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No, nothing. Anything less will not be acceptable.
Yeah. You don't think it's bad to put a rookie out there? Just boom, go for it.
I'm messing around. Look.
Okay.
The ultimate. I say it time and time again. The ultimate bullseye when you draft in the first round, and something that for the most part we just haven't been able to do, is get a day one starter game changer, bullseye type pick. Guys like Khalil Mack, guys like Josh Jacobs, you know what I mean? Like, it's not outside of the realm of possibility, you know what I mean? But like, if we have to sit him in order to wait for him to develop, if we take a quarterback and we can ride with Minshew or AOC, I'll be with it. Like, I will trust the process and I will trust whatever the coaches think at the time. Like, if they feel he's ready, let's roll. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we did with Derek Carr. Remember, he started day one in 2014, and I thought, like, with all context, I thought he did a decent enough job. I mean, you look at the wide receiver and weapons he had. that wasn't a very good team offensively, and he did okay. You know what I mean? But
he did.
like, if he's ready and does well enough, cool. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna expect the house with him year 1 and maybe even year 2. Like, as long as he progresses, you know what I mean, and gets there eventually. But yeah, ideally starting. If not, let him sit, let him get comfortable, and when he's ready, he's ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember with Derek, because wasn't Matt Schaub supposed to be our quarterback that year? Right?
Yeah, right away. It was actually Matt Schaub. Like, Matt Flynn was 2013 when he was supposed to start, and then Terrell Pryor took his job. But it was Matt Schaub who, at one point in time, he was a top 5, top 10 quarterback with the Texans when they were really good in that 2010, 2011 period. But when he eventually went over the hill, we took a chance, and he had a noodle arm in preseason. It was pretty bad. I remember watching that preseason and watching Derek Carr actually light it up in preseason and earn the job.
Yeah, that Seahawk game. Yeah.
Yeah, that Seahawk game and the other games too. Like, he played very well. And shout out to Solo, Cool Kev, Raider Critique, Westside, Protect the Shield. Everybody that I'm missing, I'm hoping I'm missing too many people. But yeah, look, like, again, when he's ready, and what the coaches believe, I'm gonna trust that.
All right, so you're with it. Like, if AP feels he's ready, then fuck it, put him in there. And then they put him in there. Yeah,
right. Put him in there. See what happens. I mean, yeah.
What about as far as Minshew or AOC? Where you guys stand on that? Who should be or who is our QB1 right now at this point, or should be? We haven't drafted one yet, so we're basing it on just who we have right
now. We think, well, I guess, like, AOC is going to be learning a new system anyways. So, I mean, they're both kind of technically on the same playing field. So I guess you'd have to go with Minshew, being that, yes, AOC is the homegrown drafted guy. This is only his second year, whereas Minshew's had, 4 years in the league. And he's had some productive, decent enough years. And I believe he made a Pro Bowl last season, right?
Yeah,
so
Minshew mania. He's made it.
What you will. You know what I mean? Like, he's a guy who plays a lot of heart and grit. I made this analogy quite a few times. He gives me shades of Bruce Gradkowski. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I can see that. Yeah.
So yeah, like, I guess when you look at it like that, Minshew, but like, it's going to be an interesting battle. Like, I'm not completely writing off Aiden O'Connell. Yeah, it is Aiden O'Connell. Like, just with my gut personally, it's not that I don't like Aiden O'Connell. I feel like we can find someone who moves the needle a little bit more. Maybe Minshew, maybe the draft.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Aunt?
I mean, me personally, I think right now, if I had to say, it'll be AOC just off what he did last year. You know what I mean?
I'll be right back.
Just because too, he has the locker room and he has led us to victories. Even though, you know what I mean, like my boy Afakasi said, both are learning the playbook. You know what I mean? It's a new playbook for both of them. But in my opinion, if I had to say, AOC will be my day one starter going into training camp. You know what I mean? Right. And then we'll go from there. And then, you know what I mean?
Then that's when the competition starts.
Yeah, but that's one thing too that I like too, that everybody that we have signed so far, you know what I mean, has fit the system, and to me, failed the Raiders and shit. You know what I mean? That's why I'm re-signing from the defense tackle we got from the Dolphins to re-signing Butler to Jenkins over here, man. We're just building a strong defensive line, just like AP had with the Giants. You know what I mean? They were like 8 or 9 in that defensive line when they won the Super Bowl against one of the greatest offenses that we ever seen. So AP knows what he's doing. And the thing is, too, that a lot of people don't give credit for. AP has a great coaching staff. He has 2 former head coaches on the staff, you know what I mean? And Joe Philbin and Marvin Lewis.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing to have. You know what I mean? He hasn't done this before, but he has people around him with experience, and that's something I do like.
It's almost like he's surrounding himself with the right guys to help him be more successful.
Yeah, unlike Josh McDaniels, just hires a bunch of yes men and shit. You know what I mean? Agree with them and shit. it just pisses me off that these people were trying to shove Josh McDaniels down their throat for 2.5 fucking years of giving this motherfucker every fucking excuse under the book. Well, it's not McDaniels' fault. He didn't draft these players. He didn't sign these players. What are you talking about? He brought every player in. He signed Jimmy Garoppolo, and this is the same Jimmy Garoppolo that looked fucking horrible, but these same people were saying, oh, he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. He's going to lead us back to the promised land. And look how he looks, how horrible does he look. I mean, look how bad we looked the first time we played the Chargers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Khalil Mack went off for fucking 5 sacks and shit. After the press conference, this dumbass is up there. Well, we doubled and triple teamed them. You know, we did everything we can, and everybody went back to the field.
No, they didn't.
Did not do any of that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, AP, you know what I mean? And a quarterback's coach that's never been an offensive coordinator, never done this before, say, you know what? Maybe we should double and triple team Khalil Mack so we don't let him wreck the game. And what happened? We put up the most franchise points in Raiders history in 63. But yet these damn people want to say it wasn't Josh McDaniels' fault. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous to me. You know what I mean? I don't know, dog. I really want to question when these people get their master's degree and what $1 million corporation they really work for, because I don't see it. I don't see that shit. I don't see how far up their ass, you know.
You know what? I think a lot of people drink the Kool-Aid on where people have been and what they've done, and they don't understand that they're not fitting what you're trying to do here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I understand, like, not wanting to bash Josh McDaniels because he's their coach, whatever, you want to be hopeful. But there came a certain point where we were fucking tired of it, right? Like, we were just like, fuck that. This shit needs to fucking change, right? Like, year one, I wasn't bashing him. I was like, okay, I'm going to give this dude a chance, see what happens, see what he can do with Carr, with Devontae. You know, we had just got him. We had Waller. Renfro was still impactful receiver during that time, just to see what it would look like. But just to see how much, like, the offense, like, instead of getting better, it got fucking worse as time went on. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're supposed to be this guru, and these dudes aren't listening to you. They're not fucking responding to anything you're fucking saying, doing. Like, you could see it on the field, you know? Like, last year, me and Chris went to the Chicago game, and that was fucking horrible. Just watching what was out there. Like, that to me was like, for me, the fucking breaking point where I was done with this fool. And I was so happy after Halloween when he fucking finally got let go. And then just to see what was coming next.
You're muted, Afakasi.
You're muted.
You're muted, brother.
You're muted.
Can I ask you guys a question? My bad. Thanks for the heads up. Me. Anyways, look, I was right there with you. I gave McDaniels a chance too. He was never my guy. I never wanted him in the door. We brought him in. I gave him a chance. You know what I'm saying? And I understand why there was people out there who want to support the guy because he's our coach. You know what I mean? I guess to a point, I was like that. He's like, I don't like the guy. I don't want him here, but I'm going to get behind him and hopefully he succeeds because if he's winning, we're winning. But it all turned out how it turned out. But let me put it to you like this. Have you ever seen any team where a team has just fired their head coach or lost their head coach, and then the very next day, you're seeing scenes in the locker room where they're smiling, they're dancing, they're laughing. Have you ever seen that with any other team? Usually when you see that kind of stuff, like the team is very somber, they're trying to rally, you know what I mean? Like it's either determined, focused, or it's like kind of melancholy, you know what I mean? It's not a literal party in the locker room. I mean, read the friggin' room. Tell me they despise this guy without telling me they despise this guy. I mean, my God. That just if that doesn't tell you all you need to know, then I don't know what does. But the hell with that guy. With all context, the worst head coach, in my personal opinion, that the Raiders have ever had. You know what I'm saying? To torpedo the team the way he did with the weapons we had was inexcusable and unacceptable. And for anybody who thinks otherwise, I don't know. Are you on fentanyl?
Or the fact that he inherited a playoff team, right?
He got
inexcusable and unacceptable.
Handed. Like, goddamn, bro. This team should have been a lot further along. But at the end of the day, we got the right coach in here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even though some people are mad, they want to keep complaining because he's from Compton. He don't got no experience. He's not Jim Harbaugh. His dick don't go from one side of the table to the other, dog. What does that got to do with anything and shit, dude? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, AP proved what kind of head coach he was last season and what he means to this locker room. Yeah. How many players came out and said, if Josh McDaniels gets fired, I'm going to ask to get traded? Ain't that what Max Crosby did? Ain't that what he said? No, nobody said that shit. Nobody said that shit. Nobody dancing, partying and shit, hooping it up in the locker room and shit. What? You know what I mean?
I think the one thing they brought us was Jacoby Myers. That was about it.
You know what I mean? Look what he brought us over. Look what Josh McDaniels brought us. He brought us over Jimmy Garoppolo and that horrible ass contract that we got to do post June 1st so we can get some cap relief and shit. He brought in the fucking headache Chandler Jones. Look how that worked out and shit. You know what I mean? Just a horrible ass signing and shit. And besides that, name another good player he brought in besides, like you said, you know what I mean? Nobody. He literally just set this franchise back. And for these guys to go up here for the last 2.5 years and keep making excuses for this motherfucker, game after game after game, saying this and that, it's just ridiculous to me. And now they're trying to jump. They never wanted AP, and now they're trying to jump on the AP bus now. Like, nobody get out here with that shit. Nobody wants you over here and shit. We all know you wanted Jim Harbaugh just because you like his penis and shit, dog. But at the end of the day, that don't got to do with anything and shit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're talking about what happens between the lines, and I don't care about what Jim Harbaugh has done in the past. We got our coach, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah, I've heard this a lot. Your buddy Critique put this on there. We don't need a number one quarterback when our defense is top 5. How do you guys feel about that when people say that?
Well, if our defense is top 5, it's definitely a very favorable spot to be in. If our quarterback isn't necessarily like a highly touted one, or if we got a guy who's there who's just kind of game managing or can do enough to get us wins and not lose us games, so to say.
Like the two that we have now, that would be Minshew and O'Connell.
Right. Like, I mean, look, until proven otherwise, they're not household names. You know what I mean? Like, they can get the job done. But like for me, I guess, like, I just look at it that quarterback is the most important position in football, and ideally you want to have a guy that the team, the coaching staff, and us Raider faithful can believe in, that is good enough to take us to the promised land and beyond. Like that's always going to be the ideal scenario. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. You good, Cheeto?
Jim Harbaugh, what's in the office?
Critique does the best impersonation, doesn't he? Sorry, Cheeto, you good?
No, yeah. I had my nephew come in real quick. Yeah. What did Critique do? What impression of what? I missed it.
Our buddy DSR got
his impression. Okay.
His impression of it, and that's fucking hilarious, dog. This motherfucker does it just sound. If you close your eyes and he does it, you literally think it's him and shit, dude. I just fucking
See, and then this one, shout out to Cool Kev. This is the part that I get concerned or worried about. Is he says Getsy's system should favor both our quarterback. It's not complicated like McDummie's offense. You guys think that our offensive coordinator with Getsy we're going to be cool? Or does it worry you a little bit, especially since we lost Josh Jacobs? You know, like what's that going to look like?
Well, I guess like if I mean we're going by hearsay, but if that's the case, I mean the hearsay last couple of seasons was McDaniels had such a complicated offense, and for me, like the way I look at it, it's like, why overcomplicate stuff? You know what I mean? If the players and personnel are struggling to understand something because it's so complex, and it's the majority, not the minority, that's struggling, then isn't that something that you need to look at and say, right, maybe we need to simplify it a little bit more? Because if the players can understand what they're doing, they're going to execute better. And if they execute better, then it's going to lead to production and performance, right? So if that's what Getsy is able to do, then cool. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't my first choice as offensive coordinator. I was actually excited for Cliff Kingsbury, but like, you know, what happened, and I'm going to give Getsy a chance. You know, like I'm hoping he can give me a Patrick Graham kind of deal. Patrick Graham proved me very wrong. Like, I was a heavy critique of Graham year one, just stemming mostly from like the hype that a lot of content creators were giving him, making out that he's going to be the savior and messiah of the defense. And he didn't prove that year one, but he definitely proved it year two, that he's the guy. And I like to be proven wrong about these things that turn out to be for the betterment of the Raiders. So if he can have a coaching stint and get a production much like Graham has on the other side of the ball on the offensive, then cool. That's what we want, right?
Cool. Right. Yeah. How about you, Aunt? You a fan of Gitsy?
I don't. Me personally, I don't like this guy. I want to avoid Kingsbury, but at the end of the day, there's one of my coworkers. Shout out to Roy. He's a diehard Bears fan. He just transferred into my building a couple of months ago, and he straight out told me that the offensive coordinator was never the problem with the Bears. It was always Justin Fields, that he was one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks ever. You know what I mean? That he was fucking missing wide open receivers. And this is coming from a Bears fan. And to back that up, what he said, what do you think the Bears got so low of a draft pick for Justin Fields? They were asking for a first-round pick or a second, and they ended up with getting a fourth or a fifth? You know what I mean? That's why, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That goes to tell you what value he really does have around the field. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Getsy's going to run the running back by committee. You know what I mean? That's what he did with the Bears. You know what I mean? He had 3 different running backs start during the season. So, you know what I mean? It's going to be interesting now that we have Madison and Zamir, Sincere, and Amir. They're going to run for 1,600 yards and 16 touchdowns.
Not Sincere. Come on.
Hey, that's what some people are saying. They're not Shadamas. I think we just go talk to them so they can predict the future and see who we're going to draft. You know
I saw that. I saw what you talking about one day. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just amazing to me how they can see the future. Like, fuck everything. We should just go to their channel and just tell us who we're going to draft right now. We should just, you know what I mean? Welcome to Raider Nation and shit. Fuck it.
Speaking of telling the future, I don't know if you guys saw, but the wide receiver, he supposedly leaked out that we were going to get Jaden Daniels. He was saying
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't like it, being that, like, it's usually when these things happen, it's like I said, you're speaking these things into
non-existence. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I hope it happens, but like, I'm just gonna have to wait and see where the cards fall, because it's gonna cost us a lot. And is it gonna cost us, something we're willing to pay if we do move up, or is it going to be a bridge too far? And I think they're leaning more towards a bridge too far, with like they're using visits on like guys like Michael Penix and Bo Nix, who may still be available in that 13 range. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're preparing for, right, it might be a bridge too far. Let's see what our other options are.
Yeah. The crazy part is, if he does pan out, nobody's going to care or even remember what the fuck we gave up for him, because he came out. It's when he starts messing up, then it's going to be like, oh, see, this is why we said you shouldn't have gave this, you shouldn't have gave that. But that's like you said, nobody fucking knows. We don't fucking know.
I just see Ray's comment. Miss Cleo at the YouTube channel. Calm down. Oh man, I love you guys, man. Shout out to you guys.
Speaking of coaching, how much leeway do you guys give AP as far as like what we're gonna see this year, next year, before you're like, oh man, we fucked up?
You want to go first on 6?
I'm giving him this year just because technically, if you think about it, guys, last year didn't count. He didn't have his training camp. He didn't have his own coaching staff. So technically, I'm going to give him this year coming up. And the thing is, one of the main things he had approval on is his time management and skills and shit. And that's one thing that we actually have a coach on this staff now that's going to be in this year telling him, hey, you should call a timeout here. You should do this here and there. You know what I mean? That's something that I do like from AP, because he knows where he's weak at and he's trying to get better at his weaknesses. So I'm still going to give him a year this year officially because he doesn't have a training camp. He has his own coaching staff. He has his own guys in there. You know what I mean? As much as people want to say, "Oh, we can count last year as well," that really technically don't count to me because that was all Josh McDaniels' dumbass staff and pretty much some of the worst people in the business if you think about it. Because that whole coaching staff was horrible. Everybody regressed. Everybody regressed. Look how bad Josh Jacob looked. He was the leading rusher, and then this last year it's just horrible, dude. I'm just glad we got rid of that dumbass. Just best decision the Raiders ever made.
So the level for you would be what then? Playoffs or bust or
I
9 wins?
I really believe we're gonna make the playoffs this year. Look at all the playoff teams from the AFC this past season. All of them have got weaker. The Ravens have lost offensive linemen. You know what I mean? They lost wide receivers. The Bills just lost a whole bunch of players. Holy fuck. You just think about it. If you look at the roster, they lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In our division as well, the Chiefs lost their starting corner. You know what I mean? They traded that motherfucker away. And you ain't going to replace a Pro Bowl corner with a rookie from the draft like that. I understand they still got Chris Jones, but look at that wide receiver, Rashid Weiss. You know what I mean? He's probably going to get suspended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that fool too. That dumbass.
And this brings us up to the Chargers too. Who the hell is Justin Herbert going to throw the ball to? Is he going to throw it and catch it himself and shit? He has no offensive weapons now. And then we have the Donkeys, which they never beat us in Vegas, so I don't even want to talk about them whatsoever and shit. So I really think the Raiders are going to make the playoffs coming up this year. You know what I mean? I really do believe it. There's something telling me that we're going to start making those leaps and bounds this year, and that's going to be a playoff team. And once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen, baby.
Okay. All right. How about you, AR?
Look, I'm right there with Milk. I'll give him 2 years. Like for me, like if we're talking about like how long we're gonna give someone before we give up, like my very flaw for giving up on a coach year one is an absolute disaster, much like McDaniels. You know what I mean? Like, McDaniels was a disaster that we gave up on him after one. Like, granted, he lasted 1.5 seasons, but he's lucky to last that long. You know what I'm saying? But like, I only see that happening if, like, say, this team absolutely torpedoes and we're getting blown out, losing more often than not, and not showing enough to show that there's hope for the future. Because like, I'm going to go on the other side of the coin. I'm not going to expect playoffs year one. If it happens, fantastic, great. But if it doesn't happen, if we get to say 7, 8, 9 wins and we show enough to look like we've got a lot of hope for our future. Because remember 2015. Remember when we went 7 and 10, and there was a lot of hope that season that we were going to trend upwards, and we did. 2016, we went to the playoffs. Granted, we got knocked out round 1 because we lost Derek Carr, but it brings me back to my point. Like, as long as he shows, him and the coaching staff show that there's enough to be faithful with moving forward. Because all I ask is we trend upwards, not regress. You know what I'm saying? That for me is enough to just, you know what, stay the course. And I've said it many times. Like, I truly believe he's the guy who's going to take us to the promised land. Bank on it. You just got to give him time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe it could be a 2-3 year process. You know what I'm saying? Like, he will get us there. To get us there year one would be fantastic, but that's not where I'm going to expect. But what I don't expect is an absolute calamity where he loses the locker room, we're losing games, and we look like what we've looked like in our garbage years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see that happening. As long as that doesn't happen, I'm willing to stay the course.
So if we're not blowing double-digit leads, we're not getting blown out, like we're in there fighting, competing,
right? We're in there fighting. Like, there's context to like, I mean, there's context to season records. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we could win 6-7 games, but like we're not getting blown out. We're showing fight. We're almost beating like these top tier teams. We're just 1 or 2 pieces away from like getting to that point, and it might take us another season of draft picks to develop, or draft picks to emerge, or free agents or players to come out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, and we've got a young roster as well. Like,
we do.
It's not really like the Raiders of yesteryears where it's just like all these old over the hill players. Like, there's a lot of young talent on this team that we're still waiting to emerge, and guys who came out last year in their 3rd years. You know, like Malcolm Kuntz and Trayvon Morig, Nate Hobbs. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just give it time. Just give it time. As long as it's not an absolute disaster and calamity, I'm with it all the way.
Okay. Yeah. What about how you feeling about Tom so far?
So let's go.
Yeah.
Not enough sample size. Not enough. I mean, look, he's only had one. We've only had one free agent class. Like, granted, like outside of the Christian Wilkins pick, I thought it was a little underwhelming, but like, it's not enough for me to go into panic stations. Like, he needs more time. So incomplete.
Incomplete. All right. So you'll know more maybe based on how he handles the draft.
Well, not even like, I mean, like. We might have gut feelings about like how we feel about the draft at that time, but like I say it how many times, like you've got to wait 3 years before you can give a fair assessment of a draft class. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we could feel good about a guy like after we draft him and then they don't amount to nothing. And then there's a guy who's like, who the frig is that guy? Like Max Crosby or Nate Hobbs, who heard of those guys? And they turned out to be ballers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Malcolm Kuntz, another guy. So like again, like even after his first year drafting, it's not fair to give him an assessment until I'd say maybe 2 seasons deep, see how the team's going, then maybe a fair assessment. But as it stands, no. I'm gonna trust the process, and him and AP are doing the right things that are going to get us there.
All right. You aren't same way?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I have a homie that's a Chargers fan, and he told me a lot of the bad contracts and the salary cap situation was not Tom Telesco at all. It was the owner's son because he wanted to go all in last year. Right. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I know a lot of Raider fans are holding that shit over him because they're in salary cap hell, and they had to cut fucking Mike Evans and get rid of all these players. But at the end of the day, if your boss over you wants to do something and you're out of your controlling hands, well, who the fuck are you? That's your boss. Just like you know what I mean? My boss tells me, hey, I need you to go do this, and I don't want to go fucking do it, and I don't agree to do it. I got to do it. It's my fucking job. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I like the moves we made in free agency so far. Some of them, like AR said, a little underwhelming, but I'm just glad we kept most of our players in home, even though we lost Josh Jacobs. But at the end of the day, once a Raider, always a Raider, and it just sucks losing them because that was one of my favorite players. And that was another player that I had a lot of autographed rookie cards and shit, and they have to get put away now.
I will say, sorry, there's something I forgot to touch up on. Like, I will like what we did in free agency better, being that we've still got a lot of cash left over. Right. And if the move was to keep that cash to re-sign guys like Malcolm Kuntz, like Nate Hobbs, going to be coming up off their rookie contract soon. If that's the reason why we're saving this much cash to re-sign our homegrown talent, then that for me is going to be on the positive side of the coin. I like that. But I'm always under the belief of like, you know, reward your homegrown talent. If they play well, for the most part, and they're still young and they've still got good years ahead of them, then reward that. You know what I mean? Rather than like letting them go and then go to other teams and bring in these guys from, like, say, what McDaniels and co did. They're bringing in all these former Patriot Way kind of guys, and because nobody else wanted to come over and sign with us. Granted, Jacoby Myers panned out, but like, it was like, for me, it was just lazy GM and coach works. Like, can't you look elsewhere rather than having to look at the well that you were at before? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I'm with you on that too. Especially the re-signing of our own with all that money. Like, I'm with you. Like, you can re-sign Kuntz, you can re-sign Hobbs. You know, things like
Jack
that.
Jones as well.
Jack Jones is another one that's going to come up.
Jack Jones is going to be coming up. He was live the other night. That was very interesting hearing his takes. Like, the more I see and hear from the guy, the more I like him. Like, I really like what I see from Jack Jones. And I've said it a few times, like, he gets my endorsement to be the guy, the young corner we've been looking for since the days of Nnamdi Asomugha. You know what I'm saying? He just needs to keep his off-the-field issues in check, but I believe he's in the right system to be able to do so under Antonio Pierce. So Jack Jones is my guy.
Pierce will be able to know how to talk to him. I like this one. This was one of my things. If we stack the D with 3 quality picks, we can hold teams to under 21 points and give us a fighting chance. So when the draft, corners, right? There's corners, there's defensive tackles. You know,
who's that corner we were talking about? Terry and Arnold. Not Armstead. Ont6, Arnold.
Yeah, he's one of them. Terrion Arnold, 13. I wouldn't pick him at 13. I honestly think you can get more depth. To me, better fits for our team later in the rounds. Like you got Cam Hart out of Notre Dame, Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon. He's a big dude too, like bigger or more physical type corners. Like I would be cool getting those guys later on than having to go for Terrion Arnold at 13. Yeah.
I mean, my favorite player that I want to take at 13, if we can't trade up for Jalen Daniels, is Alvaro Martinez, free safety from Miami. You know what I mean? He's a real fucking talented player. He's 6'2", 225, runs a 6 flat, has a 15-inch vertical. One of the best players I ever seen in my life. He broke.
You said runs a 6 flat? 6?
What's the respect on my boy's name now, dog?
The only knock on the flip side of that is that like he's kind of got the Jimmy G effect, you know what I mean? He's got all these ladies like kind of he's got to give him the old Heisman trophy stiff arm, you know what I mean? Like because they're kind of keeping him busy and it might keep him away from trying to understand the playbook and execute on the field, you know what I mean? Because he's too busy fraternizing, but.
He's going to get one of those bunny ranch passes.
Suspect, right?
Oh, man.
So if we don't get up to JD, who do you guys want to take at 13?
You want to go first on 6?
In my dream scenario,
yeah,
I'm taking the best right tackle or the best corner in this situation. Okay. You know what I mean? What's that cornerback from Toledo? I really like that. You know what I mean? That's the cornerback I want at 13. That's the guy I want. If we're taking a corner, that's the one I want. I don't want Terry Johnson. I want the cornerback from Toledo. If not, I'm taking the right tackle because those are two of the biggest positions of need that we have for the last, I don't know how many years as the Raiders. And that's something Top Telesco has done as a Charger, and that's hit on his first-round picks. And whoever it is, I just want them to come in and be a cornerstone for the next 15, 20 years. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here, guys, because I got to get some rest. I got to go to work. I got to be up at fucking 4 a.m. Thanks for having me on.
Peace on 6. Take care, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you for stopping by, brother. Appreciate you.
Raiders! Let's fucking go, guys. I'm out of here.
Peace, bro.
He's a cool guy. I like him.
Guy.
I didn't know we lived so close to each other. That was a trip when I found out. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Meanwhile, we live nowhere near each other.
I know, right? I know. It's still crazy to me how big of a Raider fan you are, and you're so far away. And you, right. It's to me, that's die hard. You know how people say like super fans and because they wear costumes or super fans, like, no, fuck that. Like you're all the way so far away, other side, and you were one of the most diehards. Like when I hear you on your lives, you bring up the old Oakland games, like your memory and your recollection of those games. Like, oh damn, I was at that game. I remember that shit. Like, yeah, like I remember being there. Like you like that's the diehard shit that I'm talking about, bro. Like shit like that.
Right. I guess I love my Raiders. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you know when you know, and you just like you're born into it. You know what I mean? Like it might not come immediately from birth, but like sometimes later on in life, some things just click, and you know in your heart you are where you're supposed to be. And when I found the Raiders, it was for life kind of deal. Like I remember the first time I watched the Raiders play, and for me, it was like, I can tell you the game. It was 2009 season opener, the Monday Night Football home game against the Chargers, where we didn't quite win, but we punched them in the mouth that game. You know what I'm saying? And that was a white hot Charger team. Yeah. And since then, it's been, for life. Like I've watched, like from 2010, I've watched every game, whether live or later on, because I'm asleep, because the times are really we're on opposite schedules. So the 1 o'clock Oakland games was 4 o'clock in the morning for me. So sometimes I'd have to stay spoiler free and catch up on it, but I would always make an effort for Raider football. But yeah, look, for better and for worse, I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? Like I was there in the trenches during those lean years, watching every game like it was the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like that for me is when it really tests your mental as a fan. Like, are you just one of these fans who's just going to switch off when the chips are down, or are you gonna stand through the hard times, be there for the team when their back's against the wall, and come out and still be here? You know what I'm saying? Like,
say that louder.
It's easy to fall off when the when the train isn't going in the right direction, or the party ain't jumping. You know what I mean? But the real ones.
Have you ever hit a point where you say you're done with this team? Like you're done. That's it. I'm done.
No, I mean, there's been times where it's just like, oh, God, this sucks. It really sucks. But like, no, I've never given up. You know what I mean? Like even those years where 2014, we lost 10 straight. I watched every game like it was the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
yeah. Wasn't that the year we actually beat KC? That was one of our fucking few wins. Like we beat them.
Yeah, that was the first time. Well, that was our first win for the season because we lost 10 straight, and then we played in Oakland. That was that real muddy game. And I think Marcel Reese, he had a game. He played well at running back in the last quarter of the game, but that was Latavius Murray. Yes, he had his breakout run, the 90-yard run, touchdown run that game. So,
isn't that
Charles
the same
Woodson
one
was that team too.
Khalil Mack and them were freaking celebrating on the field?
Yes, that was the notorious sack dance game. Yeah, okay.
I remember watching.
I don't know, for those in the chat who doesn't remember, I'll share the story real quickly. So we're up in the last quarter, I believe, by a marginal score. I can't remember if they needed to get a touchdown or 3 points to tie the game, whatever it may be. But on third down, the Raiders, Khalil Mack and Theo Moore sacked. It was Matt. Was it Matt Castle? I think it was Matt Castle in the backfield.
Or was it Smith?
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Castle. Was still their quarterback. All right. So we sacked him, and it was it was in our best interest to keep the clock running, right?
Right. Yeah.
So they're in the backfield, like literally doing a sack dance. You know, the Charlton dance from what's that TV show called?
The Carlton? From Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, whatever. You know, they're doing a dance and that, and meanwhile, the Castle and the Chiefs are lining up to go and snap to the next play. You know what I'm saying? And Justin Tuck, the senior player on the defense, you can see him on the screen. He's yelling at Khalil Mack and Seymour, "Get your fucking ass back here, you
I remember that.
idiots." And then he's calling timeout, and then you can see him taking off his helmet and almost smashing it on the ground because he's so pissed. And after the game, they interviewed him, and he was like, "Man, I wanted to fight those guys." Like literally, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. No,
we won the game, but it was a funny kind of moment.
Yeah.
See what? 10 years later, we're still talking about it. Shout
For
out
real, huh? Those are the games that I remember to the most, like that shit with those teams, and still watching all that shit. But then again, that's why you need that veteran presence, right?
Right. And it goes back to what I said, about as long as a team can give you hope. We went 0-10 that season, but we fired Dennis Allen, but there was hope for the future. We had Derek Carr, rookie season. We had Khalil Mack, rookie season. Gabe Jackson, Justin Ellis, Donald Penn. Was that Donald Penn? I think that was Donald Penn's first year in the door as a Raider. Rodney Hudson was there too, maybe.
Yeah.
So there was hope there, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's context to what a team and what's your expectation for a head coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as it's not like a total calamity and looks like we're gonna go nowhere with this guy, and we just need to cut our losses and get him up out of here, kind of deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember that. Was Woodson still on that team?
Yes, he was.
He still was on that
Woodson
team.
retired 2015.
I remember that his last game. I think it was it on a Christmas day or Christmas weekend?
His last home game was where he gave the whole speech,
Yeah.
Even though I'm retired, just know I'll never leave you. Go Raiders.
I never. Yeah, I remember because I was getting yelled at to come eat dinner with the family, and I was watching the damn game. Like, I didn't want to leave because that was his last game. I wanted to watch
Right.
the whole fucking game, and then
That was such a good game too.
that was against the Chargers, right?
Chargers or I think so. Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And then they try to run a red zone play with Charles Woodson on offense so they can get him a touchdown in his last home game of his career. It didn't work out, but I can appreciate the trying to do that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And I know it's tough for you, but do you ever plan on coming over here to Vegas?
You guys know I've been to Oakland. I was at Oakland's last home win ever when they beat the Bengals. And I'm glad I was able to do that because I really wanted that Oakland Coliseum experience. And that was
like nothing else.
One of the greatest days of my life. You know what I'm saying? I just a memory I'll never forget. And I'm glad I was able to do that. If I was to come back to the States, I would love to go to Las Vegas and watch the Raiders play, but oh God, I'm looking at close to $3,000 in flights alone.
Right.
And that's just getting there and back, let alone you know what I'm saying? Like,
let alone the game.
I love the Raiders enough. If my money situation, grants it, then yeah, absolutely. But like a more realistic goal for me, and like at the time being, like a preference would be to go see them in LA, being that it seems like a more home ground experience. And
it is.
I don't know. I kind of like that. Well, I guess it's technically not as gritty and grimy like Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Like SoFi is still a pretty good stadium, but yeah, I don't know. LA would be a realistic goal, but we'll see.
When it comes to the tailgate, LA is the closest you're gonna come to Oakland because you got a lot of more of the Oakland people do come down for that one, and the tailgate does become more Oakland based. Yeah,
I heard the tailgate at Las Vegas. I mean, nobody's clamoring that it's amazing. You know what I mean? But
oh no, bro.
That's one other experience I loved about Oakland was the tailgate. I love.
What was was it 2021 the first year that fans can actually go to the game, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so
that was the game where the first home game with fans was the Ravens game where
the Ravens
Zay Jones caught the game-winning touchdown, right?
So that season, I went to Vegas and they were playing Philly. I went for my birthday, and the parking lot to me was just dead.
Mid.
It was dead.
Right.
It was like a couple people here and there with their pop-up stuff like that. It's gotten better this past season. A lot more people get together. Like there's J lot, there's B lot, stuff like that. But it's nothing like Oakland. Yeah, it's nothing.
But can you imagine for someone like me who's never, like, I'm usually in my own little bubble here. I watch Raider games alone. The only time I talk to like-minded fans about who is just as passionate about Raider football as me is when I'm coming on here with you guys. You know what I'm saying? For me to go from just me, myself, and Irene, and this is before like the YouTube. I got it. I started to dabble back into YouTube consistently. You know what I mean? Like, so I knew nobody. I went over there with my girlfriend who was dating at the time. Like, she was based in America, so we went to California together. But just being in and amongst my people. You know what I mean? Like,
that part,
diehard, passionate Raider fans, like just like me. You know what I mean? It was just like, wow. Like, I mean, I'm from Australia, but I felt like I'm at home. I'm home.
You would definitely still enjoy it.
I'm amongst my people.
You would definitely still enjoy it. Yeah,
I loved it. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. Oh man, but thank you, man. Thank you for joining me, coming on today. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you having me on. So sorry if we took you away from the topics you wanted to discuss.
Oh no. See, right now, because we're so like in between shit, I like doing shit like this better than having that, because actual topics right now is just repeating shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we're just repeating shit over and over and over.
And I don't like getting into hypotheticals, talking about, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'd rather like see what we have and what we got and talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, and a huge thanks to you, bro, because I remember when I first started, you were one of the ones that would reach out to me about what to do, what I can do, stuff like that. So I appreciate you a lot for that, brother, for real.
I appreciate
like
you.
The whole layout thing. This AR made this for me.
Well, it's the least I could do. You know what I mean? Like, you've always supported me, and you know, I don't forget the people who support me. You know, support those who support you. You know what I mean? Like, don't take any of your supporters for granted, and especially the guys who help you and are willing to go out of their ways to support you. You know what I mean? Like I don't take that for granted. Not on my side of the fence. You know what I mean? Like I appreciate everything and everyone. I'm just another YouTube guy doing Raider content, just trying to find his way. You know what I mean?
All right. Okay.
Whatever.
Well, thanks a lot, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for being on here. You know,
Pleasure,
obviously we will be chatting throughout the years. Have you more on here as well once shit starts going. All right.
For sure. And take care, man. It's always a pleasure.
Easy.
Thanks everybody in the chat. And don't forget, if you're on my side of the fence, if you haven't already, please go and subscribe to my guy, Chittalinus. That's his YouTube handle. It's got the IG icon there, but if you type that into YouTube, you will find him. So if you're on my side of the fence, make sure you please go over, subscribe to my guy, Chittalinus, and acknowledge our tribal chief.
Love it.
Good night. All right, man. Peace.
Take it easy.
For sure.